looking up into his mama's pretty eyes. They've seen a lot of world and they've seen a lot of lies. They've seen the ruins of the future she had planned. Her son is still too young to really understand. And as the sadness hits her eye, Calvin looks up into the sky. The only space that you can find when it's better to leave than to be left behind. Better to leave than to be left behind. One day his daddy did not have to work no more. They played with Calvin's action figures on the floor. Daddy was laughing, but his mama shut the door. He'd never felt this happy and this sad before. And from that rainy day in June, his daddy slept all afternoon. They said that cancer took his mind, and it's better to leave than to be left behind. Better to leave than to be left behind. We count our blessings and we take the love we find, but it's better to leave than to be left behind. Was 10 years old on the day his daddy died. He sailed in seas of sadness from the tears he cried. When Calvin felt empty standing by the dying bed, the pillow sheets were clean beneath his daddy's head. Son, if you see somebody die, don't ever look them in the eye. His grandma said that to be kind, 'cause it's better to leave than to be left behind. Better to leave than to be left behind. Still Calvin looked and Daddy stayed within his mind, but it's better to leave than to be left behind. Better to leave than to be left behind. He sat there in the church and he held his mama's hand. He listened to the preachers praise the promised land. He talked of Genesis and of valleys in the shade. He said how every grain of sand is being weighed. Tell me, oh death, where is your sting? The golden choir of angels sing, and Jesus may have healed the blind. Still it's better to leave than to be left behind. Better to leave than to be left behind. To kill by famine, sword and plague, death is refined, but it's better to leave than to be left behind. Better to leave than to be left behind. Goes out to play with his Game Boy in the sun. He sits down by the tree although he wants to run. Inside the house the guests are silent, acting strange. Why did this happen to him? Why did his life change? He cannot help to feel depressed. He feels a sting into